PewDiePie warned us about this years ago, but no one listened. And now, the YouTube king who fought the system might have created the very thing he feared most. This story isn't just about fame, it's about how one man turned YouTube into an empire, and maybe broke it in the process. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll realize PewDiePie didn't just predict YouTube's future, he predicted MrBeast's. Long before MrBeast became the face of YouTube, PewDiePie saw the storm coming. He warned that one day the platform would stop rewarding creativity and start rewarding whoever could spend the most money. Back then, it sounded paranoid, even cynical, but that's where everyone got it wrong. Because what PewDiePie said wasn't a complaint, it was a prophecy. He told us the algorithm would turn YouTube into a factory, a place where content wasn't created, it was produced, where success wouldn't depend on talent, but on budget. And here's where it gets crazy. He even hinted that the next generation of creators would unknowingly become what he was warning against. He said, if you chase numbers long enough, you stop being a creator, you become a brand. But listen to this, and the person who would prove him right wasn't a rival. It was someone standing right beside him, that loyal kid holding signs, dropping his own money just to help PewDiePie win the battle against T-Series. Yeah, that was Jimmy, the guy we now call MrBeast. He wasn't just a fan, he was the chosen defender of YouTube's creative spirit. But here's the twist. The hero of that war ended up building the very empire he once fought against. And it gets worse, because that transformation didn't happen overnight. It was slow, subtle, hidden under the illusion of generosity and viral challenges, until one day, PewDiePie's warning wasn't a prediction anymore, it was reality. Back in 2019, YouTube had its biggest showdown ever, PewDiePie versus T-Series. It wasn't just a sub-count battle, it was a war for YouTube's soul. On one side, the independent creator who built an empire from his bedroom. On the other, a faceless corporation pumping out music videos like a machine. And right in the middle of that chaos stood one kid, Jimmy Donaldson. The world would soon know him as MrBeast. He was the ultimate supporter, making billboards, buying ads, even handing out flyers just to help PewDiePie win. People called him the future of YouTube. He represented everything the platform was supposed to be: passion, creativity, and heart. But that's where the story flips. Because over time, something started to change. The fanboy who once fought for creators began turning into the corporation he hated. At first, no one noticed. It just looked like success. Bigger videos, bigger prizes, bigger production. But listen to this. Behind the scenes, the machine was already being built. Writers, editors, camera crews, executives, the scrappy YouTuber had become a full-blown studio. And that's when it hit people. MrBeast didn't just beat T-Series in numbers, he became T-Series in spirit. But it gets even crazier. The more perfect the videos got, the less human they felt. Every frame calculated, every second optimized for watch time. You could feel the algorithm's fingerprints on every moment. It wasn't YouTube anymore, it was Hollywood 2.0. And the irony? The same guy who fought for the creators ended up proving PewDiePie's biggest fear true. The platform didn't need a corporation to take over, because one of its own had already built one. But that's not all, because what came next would expose just how far the line had shifted between content and business. Quick pause. If you're into the tea so far, like the video, subscribe, and drop a comment with your take, and share this with a friend who lives for celebrity drama. All right, back to the story. There was a time when YouTube felt alive. Unfiltered, unpredictable, and full of creators who didn't care about perfect thumbnails or analytics. And no one embodied that better than PewDiePie. He'd scream at barrels, laugh at bad games, make jokes that barely made sense. And somehow, it worked. Because it wasn't polished, it was real. That was the magic of early YouTube. Chaos that somehow created connection. But then came MrBeast's era. Clean cuts, cinematic storytelling, flawless pacing, every second engineered to make you stay. But listen to this. That's exactly what PewDiePie warned us about. He said when you remove the flaws, you remove the soul. And he wasn't wrong. MrBeast didn't just innovate, he industrialized. His content stopped feeling like YouTube and started feeling like Netflix. Everything was data-driven. Retention charts, audience graphs, thumbnail testing. It wasn't creativity anymore. It was calculation. But here's the kicker. This wasn't some evil plan. It was survival. The algorithm demanded perfection, so creators had no choice but to adapt. And the bigger MrBeast grew, the more impossible it became to stop. Because when your entire empire depends on numbers, you don't get to slow down. You keep building, scaling, producing, until your art becomes your business. And that's the moment PewDiePie's warning turned into a prophecy fulfilled. But it gets worse. Because this obsession with growth didn't stop at videos. It started spilling into the real world. Brand deals, companies, products, and one of those products would expose everything PewDiePie had been trying to say all along. Late 2023. The shift from creator to corporation wasn't just in the videos, it was in the products. MrBeast, Logan Paul, and KSI, once rivals, now business partners, united to launch Launchly. It was a marketing juggernaut, a perfect symbol of the new YouTube empire. At first, it looked like a massive win. Bottles flying off the shelves, kids lining up for blocks. But that's where things went downhill fast. Because almost immediately, health experts in schools began sounding the alarm, specifically about their prime energy drinks. We're talking about 200 milligrams of caffeine, nearly double a Red Bull, being promoted by creators whose main audience is children. But listen to this. It wasn't just a bad product. It was a symbol of the very corporate mindset PewDiePie warned about. Creators who once built trust were now pushing borderline unhealthy products onto their youngest fans, all for a massive payday. It gets worse. PewDiePie saw it coming. In one reaction, he called out the entire influencer drink trend, asking why anyone would trust a YouTuber's magic juice. He was calling out an entire mindset. Influencers so blinded by profit they'd sell anything. And here's the craziest part. PewDiePie was right again, because while he was keeping his son off camera and protecting his privacy, Logan Paul was doing the complete opposite. He actually used his newborn baby to promote his brand. Yeah, you heard that right. The birth of his child was woven into a marketing campaign. The cameras were rolling, the branding was everywhere, and a private, emotional moment became a commercial. But it doesn't stop there, because what came next would prove PewDiePie's warning wasn't just about content anymore. It was about morality. Imagine turning the most private moment of your life into an ad. That's exactly what Logan Paul did. The man who once built a career on controversy was now holding his newborn baby on camera, but not for a heartfelt moment, for a product promo. He introduced his daughter to the world while selling his brand. But listen to this. He didn't stop there. Right after he plugged Launchly, and then another collab. It was like watching a baby shower sponsored by marketing deals. And here's the part that really hit people. This wasn't just tone deaf, it was soulless. The same guy who used to talk about redemption had turned family into branding. What should have been a raw, human moment became a sales pitch with pastel packaging. It gets worse. Because this wasn't just Logan, the entire influencer world was doing it. Every life event became content. Every relationship became collab material. Every emotion became engagement. Meanwhile, PewDiePie, the man they all used to idolize, walked the opposite path. No sponsored baby photos, no clickbait family vlogs. Just quiet moments in Japan, away from the chaos. And the contrast couldn't be clearer. One side turned life into business. The other remembered to live it. But here's the thing. The story doesn't end with moral lines being crossed, because when people finally spoke out against it, what Logan and KSI did next shocked everyone even more. The internet didn't hold back. After the prime marketing and Logan's baby brand stunt, fans went off. People called it tone deaf, greedy, straight up dystopian. And instead of taking a breath or apologizing, Logan and KSI doubled down. They went online laughing it off, acting like the backlash was just haters. KSI said, "People just hate us, that's it, they're jealous." But listen to this, no one was jealous. They were disgusted, because this wasn't trolling or drama anymore, this was about ethics. It gets worse. They started flexing sales numbers like trophies. Millions of dollars made, billions of views, as if profit could cancel accountability. The message was clear, we're too rich to care. And here's where things turned dark. Anyone who criticized them got labeled a hater. Creators who spoke up were dismissed as bitter or irrelevant. But that's not all. It became a pattern. Influencers stopped listening to feedback and started weaponizing success. Meanwhile, the fans who made them famous were realizing something. The creators they loved weren't creators anymore. They were brands in hoodies, CEOs with merch deals. And suddenly, PewDiePie's old warning wasn't just about YouTube's future, it was about human decency fading behind the algorithm. But what happens when a platform built on connection turns into one big advertisement? That's where the line between old YouTube and new YouTube gets exposed. And trust me, that divide runs deeper than anyone thought. There was a time when YouTube felt like a conversation, not a commercial. When creators uploaded because they wanted to, not because they had to hit a sponsored deadline. Back then, PewDiePie, Jacksepticeye, and Markiplier weren't brands. They were friends. messing around, making dumb jokes, and somehow building empires out of laughter. But that era, gone. Now everything's optimized. Retention graphs, keyword testing, thumbnail psychology. Creators don't create anymore, they strategize. And it gets worse. Even kindness became content. Remember when generosity was just generous? Now it's a business model. MrBeast's giveaways, his charity videos, yeah, they change lives, but they're also content assets. PewDiePie warned us about this exact thing years ago. He said, "When everything becomes content, nothing feels real." And he was right. Because here's the truth. We're not watching people anymore. We're watching productions. YouTube used to feel messy, human, full of surprises. Now it feels like a conveyor belt of thumbnails screaming for attention. Every laugh rehearsed, every OMG moment pre-scripted. But listen to this, even some of the biggest creators are starting to feel it. Jacksepticeye said it himself. YouTube became about views and money, not fun. That line hit hard. Because it's not just viewers losing connection, it's the creators too. And while PewDiePie quietly stepped away, others doubled down, chasing perfection until they forgot why they even started. But that's not the end of the story. Because what MrBeast built next didn't just change YouTube, it rewired the entire system. MrBeast didn't just master YouTube, he rewired it. What started as one guy and a camera became a billion-dollar operation. Warehouses, sound stages, armies of editors. It's not a channel anymore. It's an industry. But here's the crazy part. The bigger it got, the less human it felt. Every second planned, every thumbnail tested, every word optimized for retention. The fun? Gone. The chaos? Deleted. And yet, the views kept rising. But listen to this. That success came with a hidden cost. The algorithm doesn't care about people, it cares about performance. So every upload has to be louder, faster, more expensive. If the last video gave away a house, the next one needs a private island. It never ends. And it gets worse. This pressure didn't just change MrBeast, it changed the platform itself. Creators started copying the formula, chasing perfection until nothing felt real. The thumbnails all looked the same, the titles all screamed the same. YouTube turned into a factory, and MrBeast was the blueprint. Even his good intentions got swallowed by scale. Philanthropy became content strategy. Charity became click-through rate. The very thing that made him beloved became another metric to optimize. And that's when it hit people. PewDiePie didn't lose to the algorithm. He escaped it. While everyone else was racing to please a machine, he walked away and found peace. But that's not all, because the ending of this story isn't about failure. It's about the only person who figured out how to win by stopping the game entirely. In the end, it wasn't fame or money that defined these two creators. It was what they chose to walk away from. PewDiePie built chaos, conquered YouTube, and then let it go. No farewell tour, no brand expansion, just quiet mornings in Japan with his family and a camera collecting dust. Meanwhile, MrBeast built the future PewDiePie once feared, a system so big it couldn't stop moving. Every video a production, every smile a deliverable, every moment tracked by graphs and metrics. He won the algorithm, but lost the freedom that made YouTube magic in the first place. But listen to this. Maybe PewDiePie didn't quit. Maybe he just figured out what winning really meant. Because peace, that's the one thing an algorithm can't measure. It's poetic, really. The man who warned us about YouTube becoming a factory escaped before it swallowed him, and the fan who once fought beside him became the face of the very machine he feared. So, was PewDiePie right all along? Maybe the real secret of YouTube isn't about staying viral, it's about staying real. And if that's true, then PewDiePie didn't just predict the future, he outsmarted it. If you're loving the tea so far, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more daily celebrity news and gossip. Drop a comment below. I want to know what you think about this drama. And don't forget to share this video with your friends who live for celebrity updates. We've got so much more coming up, so stay tuned.